Road to National season winding down, calling season about to start. What sleeve will you bring? That is very important coming into this season. That and more this week on Outcast Haven Podcast. So let's start off with something here. Number one.
Can I just start? And I feel personally.
This is very important. This is very important. I get this off my chest.
Yep.
Because it was so wrong and it bothered me so much. When you are picking sleeves, this is very, very important. If you're playing Kano and another content creator is playing Kano, and I wanted to respond with a clown icon to the post because he's going to use Harry Potter sleeves with Harry Potter. That is so wrong on so many levels. Number one, the proper sleeve is Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter Dragon's Shield selection. 100%, the red flame, everything about it is Ron Weasley. Two, you don't need to wear a wizard costume when you're streaming videos, because that was on the picture on the Facebook post. So I thought maybe a clown outfit, a little red nose, and a rainbow wig would probably be a little bit better setup if we're gonna do that.
Oh, you should have. We could have started my new segment, dude. This would have been a great content for the new segment. I had a dream. I messaged you guys. I had a dream last night, and in the dream we were recording the podcast, and we had implemented a new segment, Prison Yard Dance Hard Stance, where we just take a hard stance against something that we saw in the community, for better or worse. We don't know. But I woke up
for no reason.
For no reason. Yeah. I woke up and I was like, holy shit. Is my subconscious smarter than my conscience brain? Like, is that possible? Because how have I didn't think about that. I had to dream it. Anyways, that might be coming. Comment below if you like that as like a segment where we just take 2 minutes to just take a ridiculous hard stance. The Prison Yard Dance hard stance. Yeah.
So my hard stance as a spoiler is, if you do cool sleeves for Kano, it's gotta be this guy right there. I mean, that's your Kano sleeve. 100%. It's not Harry Potter. That's not even thinking outside the box. What were you gonna say? Because I got more sleeves, a little more sleeve talk before we get on to the good stuff. You were gonna say something.
I was, and this is dumb because mine was actually about sleeves too. And I feel personally attacked that the episode that Blake can't be here for, it's just you and me. We're just going to bond. We're going to chat. We're going to, just think back and forth, have a great time. You open with the one thing that I hate that you do probably more than anything.
I know.
You're just like, you're like, dude, it's fine. I actually don't hate it. At this point, I think I just lean into it, hating it more because...
You've inspired the sleeve. This sleeve was for you. I bought the sleeve for you. This is the Fist of Bravo sleeve.
Yeah. No, and I'm totally fine
it was a present to you.
It doesn't bother me as much as I let on now. But why make? I mean, you're mixing IPs. At its core, it's fine as long as you're not playing on like a Yu-Gi-Oh playmat. If you really wanted to tilt me and you're sitting down across from me, unroll like a small like Yu-Gi-Oh playmat with the zones and words and just play over the top of it. And just watch me have an
did play on my
free win.
My Golden Frieza playmat on Tuesday at the Source on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I'm like, I got to break out Golden Frieza. I haven't played it for a while. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek for this week for Road to Nats. For anybody just listening, this is just one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm kind of kidding there. Justice League, Aquaman, and I'm not telling you what I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna give you one card so you can guess.
I'm just gonna
Snapdragon Scalers. What? Because not every deck plays that.
Snapdragon. What deck is it? It's Bolton.
It's not Bolton. It's definitely Kano with Snapdragons. It's a new spice that I'm brewing up.
We are
Don't need Storm Striders. Just run
We're-
snap trains.
We talked about that, but I'm serious about that. After like calling season winds down and we're waiting for nationals or whatever's coming down the road next, like I'm building silly decks with equipment that is just meant to freak people out.
That's actually something I want to hit, and we'll hit that in a second, is just wind down and with everything so busy. But I got to tell you something funny. So before we come on here, I'm playing cards with Beth and Mason. So I got that lawyer up game when we were at the Source on Tuesday. 2-person card game. So Beth and Mason were the prosecution. I was a defendant. Played it. I lost to their 2 minds over mine. Fun game. I'm like, yeah, let's go again. And Beth looks at me and she's like, don't you podcast tonight? I'm like, oh shit, it's 9:30, isn't it? And that's when I'm like, hey Dane, I'll be on 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Fun game though, lawyer up. And then I'm going to segue smoothly into this because of something that we did. That is,
for the record, we are going to be talking week 3 Road to Nats. We'll put a timestamp right there. All right, cool.
So brain dysfunction from playing too much Fab, I think, is a serious issue. Like like when you play so much of one game, and this is an issue that I have, and I don't know if other people have this issue, is when I go to bed at night and try to fall asleep, I do replay turns in my head, not on purpose. They just come up, how to block it, how I want to go, what my next play is. And I don't sleep sometimes because of it. And it's not just Fab, it's any card. When we play DBS, it happens. If it's a very casual card game, it doesn't happen because you're just playing and having fun. And you and I met this afternoon and played a little Gate Ruler because it's a very casual, enjoyable game. Like, I enjoyed playing it. I love looking at the art on it. It doesn't strain your brain. The games are fast. It's fun. It's got cool little quirk abilities.
Yep.
And when it's like I have the RTN on Saturday, and then me and Blake are going to Vegas, and then it's going to be probably like a 2 to 3 week stretch of decompression of board games, other fun, non-intense card games to like. And I don't know if other people have that where you just kind of decompress everything and just like take a breath for a little bit. Or if it's your life and you just grind it 24/7, 365. I can't quite do that, but I know you're the same as me a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something to be said for having like a casual side game, right? Because I think you can get too invested in the outcomes. Like when we're testing or when we're prepping for something, you know, like I end up putting a lot of weight in how I'm feeling, in like how my deck's performing, how I performed as the pilot. And, you know, it can be more stressful, and it's kind of nice to just have a game that takes you back to when you were playing games for fun and slapping cards down, you know, on the playground in middle school, and, you know, just like seeing what Pokemon had the most HP and they win, like just relaxing and jamming out a fun game. And Gate Ruler is great for that, just because, and we're not like promoting it or anything. If you want to check it out, do that. But it's just a fun game. Like there's literally rulers or leaders or, you know, your heroes that just top deck, and that's how the deck plays. It's called driving.
Just super simple.
It's it's called a drive deck, and it's literally like this ruler will drive 2 at the start of your turn. You just flip 2 over, and those are your 2 cards that you play that turn. And it just super rewards deck building. And
never have hand.
As you're taking damage, you take damage off the top of your deck as your life, right? And you put it into your life, and then there's just counters. There's 16 cards in your deck that are counters that basically mean you don't take that damage. And so it's just super RNG. Like Jason's playing a drive deck where he's just flipping stuff over and swinging
Whatever
at me.
comes.
And I'm taking damage, and as I'm flipping it, none of mine are counters. All 16 of my counters are apparently at the bottom of my deck. And then that's just game. And it's like, cool. You get to look at cool cards and chill and just
play another one, and it goes to reverse the next one.
Shoot the shit and hang out. Yeah. No, it's fun. I like having a side game. And Gate Ruler's got really, really great art. And I like the aesthetic, and they have such like a variety too in the different factions that I feel like a lot of people can find what they are looking for in a game.
Yeah, just a fun little game. And I just noticed the the past live stream locals, I was getting frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
I had a sense of frustration, even playing decks that aren't even mine. That, you know what I mean? Just
That's
that I'm
part
like,
of that.
okay, I
That's
gotta.
part of that investment thing, right? Like when you're
Right, that's what I mean.
prepping.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
with decompression of like, we played just a fun game with the family and played Gate Ruler today, and just what board games I'll play next. I think it's good. I think it's nice to have that little time away, because then when the season comes, and then it's grind back to get ready for different events. And I've just come to the realization I'm gonna play tons of decks, and that's gonna be my enjoyment with this game, is playing different decks. I'm gonna play my third different deck at an RTN, and I enjoy the deck. So if I enjoy it, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, play what you're having fun with. If you're not taking Fab too seriously and having fun with that, then definitely do it. If you find yourself like getting worked up at locals and stuff like that, man, just grab something different. Pick a show to watch on Netflix. Like, just do something to decompress, because it's not worth getting stressed about. It's not worth investing.
Pornhub, maybe.
How you feel, as a person in your day-to-day life should not be like reflective of how you performed at your locals last night. So if that's happening, try a different game. I'm curious what other people do. If you've got something like, if you just love to chill with Netflix, or if you do have another game, like, because there's so many games out there, man. Like, especially over this first quarantine, I'm gonna call it first quarantine, because round 2's probably coming.
13-1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm guessing it is too.
So
that's gonna be part of a conversation here when we get to the fun stuff.
Yeah. So I want to know what other people are playing, because I'm always down to pick up like a deck for a new game. I'm kind of like Jason in that. Blake kind of commits to 1 or 2 games, maybe 3, but he's like on those and that's it. And I think that he tends to be like a little more competitive within his games, and he's cool with it. I know he's got Commander. He plays Commander with his kids for fun.
I actually picked up a couple Commander decks just for that reason, just because my son knows how to play it, and just for, once again, it's 99 different cards. Who cares what comes up, and just have fun with it.
Singleton, it's great. There's decks in Gate Ruler that are Singleton. It's like you just need one. Cool. This is super
I saw that. Yeah. I'm gonna probably make one of those.
Comment below what you play. What is your stress relief?
Yeah. And I'm actually excited for winter, because I know we're going to do board game sessions, and I've got like 50 board games, and those are fun just to sit down, especially one of our local establishments has beer that they serve, so you can have some beers, play some board games. So all for that. Let's hop on to Road to Nationals week number 3. Can you bring in some music, like background, like something that comes in dun 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 dun, and then pull up, and with some graphics, explosions as they come in? Is that something we can do on the spot, Dane? Or is that just gonna be a hard no?
Nope. It's up on screen now.
Okay. All right, it's up. So I'm just shocked to see Chain with all the top 8s. Absolutely shocked. I don't know how, with a deck that just doesn't seem that great. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of drive decks that just play off the top.
I mean,
there's more to it, but
at first, with all the complaining of, oh, he's playing with 9-10 cards, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Now it's like, yeah, that's when you're talking about a 4-card hand, and now you're letting one deck play with a lot more than 4 cards.
I want to stop you right there, just because I don't want to fall into this trap of like bitching about.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying.
I know, but all I want to do is harken back. Do you remember when we were first talking? Like, it had to be in the first 10 episodes of the podcast. We were just shooting the breeze about what we thought was going to be coming down the lines eventually. Do you remember how crazy we thought it would be to have a leader or a hero with a 5 intellect? Do you remember us talking about that and being like 5 intellect would be crazy? Just look at Datadol, who only has 3, and how much that completely hinders her. It's like a 5 is going to be crazy. It's like, okay, but they made Chain. So just 5. Let's just hit way more.
But I mean, but not only that, you see the effects of, there is nothing scarier than Dawnblade with Go Again has an arsenal, and then you get a Nourishing Emptiness that you can't block, 6 dominated, and give Dorinthia 5 cards with one in arsenal. Same thing with Prism, giving her 5 cards, one with arsenal, and then Chain. I got 4 cards, 1 in arsenal, and I got 9 banished cards I guess I can play here. So let me see what I'm going to do with these 15 cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fine. He still can get beat.
It's not like it's a tier 0. Like, I don't even know. So it depends. Like, so many different games define like their tier lists differently. Like, you've got like S tier, A tier, B tier, like, or they use numbers like 1.5, whatever it is. I don't think that Chain fits like the deck that is unbeatable, that is broken and ruining the meta tier, whatever that tier is for this game.
No, I think Dash in the last before Monarch was more of that than Chain is.
Well, we'll see. Like, I'd be curious if I wish we had like Dash numbers.
There just wasn't enough play back then, though.
I know, but I'm just.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like, just if we were to be able to look back and see what Dash's representation in wins were, but I think that, I mean, it's definitely beatable.
So
I don't think it's crazy.
So I'm not sure what number Blake missed on here on this bar graph, but he's got Kano at 4 wins with 1 top 8. I'm guessing that's Katsu wins.
Yeah,
that is. I'm looking at it. Week 3, it is Katsu. So Katsu, he just put it 1 line up too far. So that's easy fix. So Katsu. I mean, if we look at representation of decks that you see at your locals, so obviously I think Chain is generally about 30% of the field for us, I would say is an accurate number.
Yeah, roughly. I would say it's 30% of the field.
Yep. Katsu is probably 20 to 25% of the field, and then it evens out after that with your Boltons and Prisms, and then you get some few weird ones in here and there, and Bolton's starting to pick up a lot more, but you still probably in 32 that will have Saturday, it'll probably be 3-4 Boltons. But so Chain continues to dominate the top 8s, and then with dominating top 8s, you're going to get more winners. So, but the problem is his top 8s are a lot higher than everybody else, and I don't think that and correct me if I'm wrong if you're listening, I haven't seen a list where there's 50% Boltons at one road to Nats.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you say?
Like that half the field is Chain. I said Bolton, so I confused everybody.
I was like, oh, I haven't seen that either, Jason. Good point.
Yeah. I'm saying you don't see a road to nationals where over half the field is Chain. I think it's pretty average. If you have 40 people, you're going to see 10, maybe 12 Chains.
Yeah.
So he's dominating the top 8. So I mean, even though there's that, a lot of the Chain players are making it in from the top 8.
So this is, and if you haven't, and I don't know why personally, I think he does great content, but Dice Commando, Andrew, our buddy over at Dice Commando, he actually put out a video. And this is a topical point for me to bring up right now, is that he did a video on conversion rate and what data analytics wise, because I don't know if he's told his followers what he does for a living or anything like that, but he works with numbers, right? And he just pointed out the fact that using conversion rate as like what conversion rate actually means can be a little bit of a misnomer with this, because it doesn't take into account a lot of other factors. So saying that Chain's conversion rate is lower percentage wise than Bolton's conversion rate, meaning that he's not as good into the field, that is like an inaccurate assumption. It's an inaccurate fact to pull from that data. It can be an assumption that you make from the data that it's weaker and there's additional reasons, but so what in that comment in the video, you can see us go back and forth a little bit, but basically I like to look at like the ratios and changes in ratios. So the fact that looking at like the field, so I don't know if you've got the numbers, but if you look on our past videos as well, you can see that the ratios from overall representation stay pretty accurate to from overall representation to top 8. Like the ratios don't change much. And
except
then
for Chains go higher. He's got the best,
If you
like
just look
his
at
overall reputation,
yep.
2 top 8. He goes from 18% overall in a field, but he's top 8ing 25% and winning 34% of the time. So if you just take out top 8s because of what Andrew's point is of attrition, that they're eating each other in top 8s. So you take out the top 8s and just go representation to winners. Chain is the best hero there is.
Yeah, and looking
in that number alone.
Right, but there are people that I've seen on the Facebooks that have been drawing the conclusion that like the volume of chains being so small compared to the amount being run in the overall field, like that is a bad conclusion to draw from the data. Just to be clear, that's what he makes a good point about it. Check out his video. It's Dice Commando. Great dude, super smart guy. Definitely give his content a look if you haven't already. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because it's topical right now. But so I think that like Chain is obviously very strong. Right.
I mean, his representation. So that's what I'm saying is, I see what Andrew's point is, but if you just go from overall representation, so if he is 18% of all decks that has been played so far this year, but he's won 34% of the time, that automatically makes him the best. Regardless of anything else, those numbers correlate and make sense of him as the best.
The ping and the vertices and the axes. Yeah. Yep.
Right. And if you look at Prism, that is one of the worst.
Just looking at the overall ratio being run, and then
Katsu just is a straight line.
But his wins plummeted last week.
They did. They went down to 4. And Bravo's come up, and I think Katsu Control came out to take care of Chain, but Bravo just wipes his ass with Katsu Chain or Katsu Control. So you got that, which I think is great in a game. You have that, you're starting to get these triangles.
It's not even a triangle though, man. Like there's lots of other decks that's
no, it's not a triangle. It's more of a pentagon or a horoscope.
I don't know what
is that a shape? Is a horoscope a shape?
Yeah, like Tauros.
Taurus?
I probably could have used mine, Aquarius, but is that yours?
I'm Taurus, yeah.
Dude.
I'm bullheaded. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's because I care, Jason. I knew that.
So Chain's dominant. Dorinthia is another good one. She's flat across the board. Dash is pretty flat across the board. So even though Andrew's thing is, I think now they're getting enough data where it's starting to just show what is the best deck. But I think that video in that argument would have been more conclusive with 1 week's of data. Now we have so much data that's the numbers are starting to even out, and we're seeing that Katsu is 60% overall representation. He makes a top cut 19% of the time and wins 16% of the time. So he's a nice flat 16% across the board, where you have your good and your bad pilots. That pilot just comes out. Bolton's 9, 10, 9. Bravo's 11, 15, 16. That tells me Bravo's got better players, better pilots, right? Because his percentage goes up for winners. Chain's 18, 25, 34. He jumps up because Chain in 3 matches is just, I don't know. He's going to do really well. It's going to be hard to, you have to sit down and super hyper focus to beat him in those, because you're hoping that he RNGs just misses every single thing. And if he only hits on 40% of his soul shackles, he's still going to beat you.
So this is my prison yard dance hard stance, right? I think that you're wrong in the way that you're applying this data, but I'm not smart enough to know why.
I'm not applying it to anything. I'm just saying
No,
chains, regardless of the pilots don't matter anymore, I think, at this point in the data, because there's been so many different events that the skill cap from pilot to pilot, there's no way of knowing if So it's like
Yeah.
saying
In any sort of evaluation, you're going to have to account for differing pilot skills. So no matter
right,
what system you use,
correct.
right?
There's
Yeah.
just
So that
no
makes
way
sense.
to
Yeah.
account for that in this data. There's no way. And otherwise, I could say, you know what? Minnesota players are way better than Missouri players because their top 40 people in St. Louis had 3 Minnesotans. So obviously, Minnesota just has better players than Missouri. You can't say that just because of the one outlier that we had 4 guys and 1 car go down and 3 of them make top 8. You know what I mean? Does that mean they're the best pilots?
Makes me wish I would have gone down to Missouri, but
Right, right. But I'm just saying that's why it's so hard to go by pilot skill, because
yeah.
from state to state, experience to experience, it's very hard. I just see that from the data we have, Chain is very, very good.
Yep.
Prism is very good in Swiss. Katsu does what he does throughout the tournament from start to beginning. And same with Bravo.
Yep.
And once Bravo gets past a lot of, I don't know, what is his bad matchup?
Bravo? Prism.
Probably. Yeah, Prism. So, and that's why his win percentage jumps up, because he gets to the top 8. As long as he doesn't hit Prism, he does very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, that is also susceptible to, I mean, it's a small enough number where you can't say that it has balanced out fully, right? So like, it's possible that like 80% of these top 8s, the Bravos just happened to dodge the Prisms that also made it. You know, and then there's probably some RTNs where Bravos made it and no Prisms made it, so they had like kind of a cakewalk in the top 4 and whatever. But
Olympus Games had out of the 8 had 3 Prisms, 1 Bravo, 3 Chains, and a Lavia, and Bravo won. So he could have avoided one of the Prisms, but it would have been difficult. In Fat Ogre, that's a great name for a store. Bravo
just
had
taking shots.
two Prisms.
Nice name. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
This one had 3 Prisms. 2 Prisms. That's weird that he's winning with all these Prisms and top 8s and he's still getting through.
Yeah, maybe. I think
unless the Prisms are getting the chain matchups in the top 8 and getting screwed.
Could be. Who knows though? We don't have that data.
All I know is the calling. I think that the calling prediction is going to be tough, because are people going to look at the winner percentage and pick their deck based off the winners? Are we going to see more of what overall is and stay with that kind of same spread of decks? Or where are they going to be? Because I don't think top 8 will make much of a factor of what people pick.
No, it's just,
I think they're going to,
looking at top 8 is like, you might have some people that look at the top 8s because they want to know what's good into Swiss. They want to be able to, progress decently far. They're like, I'm not going to practice and grind out tons of games, but I don't want to get like blown out. What's been crushing Swiss? And they see a ton of Prisms. They're like, all right, cool. We're on Prism.
Prism crushes Swiss. Yep.
So, I mean, I think that it's probably valid that people are going to look at the results from Roto Nationals and see Chain doing really well. But I don't know that swerves a lot of people to playing like a Bravo, right? Because Bravo takes a lot of, like, that is a very low floor for Bravo, right? No, it's not. No, I said it right on accident though. So it's a low floor, but it's a very high ceiling on playing Bravo properly. Right. It takes a lot of practice, right? So I don't know that people are going to be like, I'm going to commit hard to Bravo right now, if they haven't been already. I think we're going to see lots of Katsu still, lots of Chain. I really, like, I'm still blown away that Dorinthia hasn't been as prominent, like just in overall numbers even, like just people that want to play her. So
yeah, that's interesting too. I think one of the things is the Husk probably kills some Dorinthia turns and allows Chain to beat her in some turns that he shouldn't. Yeah, because it's just a, what is it? A helmet decision. Is that what you call that?
Yep.
Like Dorinthia. I will say this. So as a person who's played a lot of Bravo and a lot of other decks too, I've played him very well several times, but I've also played him poorly because I played Chain, and the fun thing about playing Chain, and this is why a lot of players play Chain, is he has that turn where he goes off, and it might be 2-3 turns a game where he's going to output 20 to 30 damage on a turn. Chain can do that. Playing Bolton, which I'm starting to fall in love with Bolton. Bolton can have, no matter if you're playing Raiden or Sabers, he can have a 20 plus turn multiple times a game, right? He can have blowout turns. You can pitch things early. You can set up your deck. You can block efficiently to set yourself up for a big turn. I like that in a deck. When you play Bravo, it takes, at a high level, it takes the utmost of patience to make sure you pitch that deck properly, to make sure you block that deck properly, because you have 3 crippling crush, 3 spinal crush that you dominate. They're going to have equipment to block 1 or 2 of those. So deciding when to use them and at the right time and when to take damage is very difficult, and it takes a lot of patience. So like you said, low entry, high to get up to the Kale level of the worlds. Yeah, it's very difficult to get to that point. It takes a lot of reps to do that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like, even despite seeing that Chain is really prominent and knowing that Bravo has a fair matchup into Chain, I still don't know how that the overall Bravo numbers spike. You know what I mean? Going into calling season.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. I will say it's not far off what we thought it would be, or when we predicted before the season started. And I don't think it's far off what anybody thought, to be honest with you. If anybody was thinking about this, I think everybody had a pretty good idea that Chain was going to be one of the better decks. All you had to do is play that deck about a dozen times, and you see multiple games with multiple huge turns. And you're like, okay, this is going to be hard to beat when it can output this kind of damage.
I think too, like, I mean, because there was talks a couple weeks into after release of Monarch where people were like, yeah, but Chain's super RNG. But like, if you've played enough games and seen enough like decks stabilize, I mean, you probably saw that Chain had the play required and like the build space to allow him to build into a more consistent deck. So like people were saying like, oh, it's just RNG though. Like no one's gonna, like in the long run, Chain's gonna be like that early meta aggro and then sort of fade into the background when control and not mid range, because Nick raised a good point in our podcast about that. But more control decks take over, right? But I think that Chain is stabilized into like just a solid deck with mitigatable RNG. So
with the whole flock, it's kind of funny is nobody was running flock that I'd played against until Matt's list came out, and then he obviously did the deck tech on our channel, and now every Chain I've played, I've seen flock. Immediately was in every deck.
Yeah, I mean it's a good,
and it just makes awesome that deck so much better.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean even down to like the amount of prisms showing up and performing well. I didn't think that Prism was going to be like the breakout favorite when I picked her. I just love playing her. I think she's really fun, and I do think that she plays well. She plays well into Swiss. She plays well into untuned or unpracticed pilots and untuned decks. And what I've been doing, because I love Aura Prism. It's super control, but knowing like it's almost like your clap that you're building towards is just getting a board to snowball. Like that's all you're doing. It's not like you're building towards a 25-30 damage turn, right? You're building towards getting a board that they can no longer mitigate. And it doesn't matter when you do that in the game, because once you do, like playing, I don't know if it was you or who, but like I know you've seen the point where like if I just can have enough turns where I put down multiple auras or build up enough soul shields, it just snowballs. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get Prism to the point where I can play less and less aggro Prism into more matchups after I get comfortable with them. Because like getting comfortable into Rhinar with auras over aggro was like the the light bulb moment for me where I'm like, I think I can figure out Aura Prism into most matchups, or at least, you know, a good amount of matchups. Because I swore I had to run aggro into Rhinar and Race. It's like the more that I played it, I was like, I don't. Like, I can actually, this is actually a better matchup if I run Aura. So I think that doing that with different like Bolton too, I was like, I got to race Bolton. And then that ended up being like a very obvious Aura matchup. So as I'm finding more and more Auras, because Aura is the fun build to me, I'm getting more and more excited to like keep playing her. So that was my rant about Prism. It's really all I gotta say about that.
This is the most exciting part about this game that I'm going to go to now, and what makes me happy about this game, and I'll tell you why after I go through this. So there's 12 adult heroes in the game of Flesh and Blood. Would you agree with that, Dane?
Adult heroes, yes.
All 12 of them have now top 8. Every single one is a top 8. Azalea's 1, Bolton 50, 66 Bravo, 150 Chain, 34. I'm not going to go through all of them. Wins.
Yeah.
Wins 9 out of 12 of the heroes have won a road to nationals.
That's pretty dope.
I love the fact that we have such diverse meta in such a young game.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
A lot of young games will fall into that, like just like the one deck that people solve, and then they spend the next 2 sets trying to develop their way out of a hole. And I mean, I think it shows that Legend Story Studios did it right. Might not have got the address thing down the first time, but they got the game thing down the first time. For those of us that didn't listen to our live stream, we've seen this is a side tangent. We've seen all of like the content creators putting out their giveaways for like the content creator appreciation kit. Fear not, they do appreciate us. They let us know, they sent it to us, and it ended up in Great Britain and delivered to the wrong address, and it's being sent back. And when they get that, they'll reship it to us. And then all of our faithful subscribers, likers, serial thumbs downers, whoever it is, you guys will all have your opportunity too. So it'll be like that. It'll be like the late great Billy Mays, right? Where when everyone's said and done, everyone's giving away their stuff, we'll come kicking in the door like, but wait, there's more. And then you'll have your other opportunity to win there. So.
And for the one contest you have, I got my first comment liked on the Discord. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Like their favorite, you have to do your favorite moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, somebody loved my black marker to cover the nicks and then sent it in for grading. Nobody will know.
So, on the topic of giveaways, if we've still got your attention here, I hope so, because the video is still playing. You need to go to our episode 52, our 1-year episode, and comment what your favorite moment in the last year was. Whether it's way back in the beginning, we're not giving any weight for people that have been with us longer. It's just your favorite moment in the year. If you're a brand new subscriber, like the video, comment what it was, and you will be in the running for a first edition Tales of Arya box that I'll be giving away from my personal stash when release weekend hits, and that will be getting shipped out. This is going to close noon on the 23rd Central Standard Time. That's when I'm going to peruse the comments to see who commented their favorite moment and liked the video. And
then you're going to random generator that one?
Yeah, I'll random generate it. We can even just do it on the cast. That's cool.
Yeah, we can random generate it right there. That'd be really cool.
We'll record it, and then that will be announced on the podcast that release on Friday. So that should be super exciting that you guys tune in for the podcast and find out. We'll do it at the beginning so we don't blue ball you, and let you know who won the first edition box.
So I have a quick question before we finish this podcast up.
Yeah.
So for anybody that hasn't seen, they have released the calling event schedule, which is amazing. So for Vegas, they have obviously the main event stuff, the scrub out ProQuest event. That's what I call it. I'd already told Blake, I'm like, if I scrub out, I'm joining it obviously the next day.
You have to.
But then they have all these side events throughout all 3 days, which are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if we start because you have that 3D printer.
Yeah.
If we print me and Blake some tokens, and if you beat us at any one of the events in Vegas, you get a token, and we can start that system off.
Yeah, I like that. I'll definitely whip some of those up because I've already been messing. I'm just
I'm trying to think if we want to do 3 tokens.
3
3
tokens.
tokens per mat.
Oh, you're saying no? I think
You have to.
because I mean, think how often you're going to play that one person, right? Because you're not going to be
might
like,
be tough.
yeah. So I think that we still use the system of if you beat one of us, we give you a token, and then you can use that token to declare a challenge to another one of us, other than the person that you won the token off of. And if you beat that person, we take your token, give you Matt.
Yep. We won't have
that's-
mats in Vegas yet, but we can get mailing addresses.
Yeah, there you go. But we'll have the tokens, and obviously be a subscriber. Otherwise,
yeah. Wait, I mean,
you got to
we don't
ask
even wanna
for it.
talk to
If
you.
you beat us and you don't ask for it and you don't know us,
Yeah, we're not just gonna offer it up.
yeah. Hey, you want a free Matt? Fuck no.
Other than that, that's all I got. Super excited with, all the decks have made a top 8, even Azalea and Lavia. And Reinar won an event. I mean, come on. This is great.
That doesn't surprise me. Like, honestly, Lavia making a top 8 shocks me more than anything. Shocks me more than Azalea.
I think there's a way to build her to be good.
Yeah,
there's a way to build everything.
Ignore her class cards. That's how she's good.
Well, you only put in you don't put all of them in. You just put some of them in, and then it works.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us.
Oh, the people. Okay.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. Blake is on vacation. If we didn't say that at the top of the episode, I don't remember, but he wishes he could be here. He misses you all dearly. You're all very important to him. And be sure to go back to that episode 52 and comment, because that's the only place we're accepting comments is on that YouTube video. So if you're listening on Spotify, your podcast app, whatever it is, download the interwebs and whatever you got to do and comment on episode 52, your favorite moment. Once you made that comment, on the 23rd at noon, we'll be closing the contest for the first edition Tales of Aria box and announcing it on our podcast that week, the release date of Tales of Aria. So, and then also down the line, we're going to get our content creator appreciation kit at some point, and we'll do that. We'll do that giveaway as well, and we'll come up with something fun there. But hope that you enjoyed week 3 recap, our banter a little bit, and as always, hope to see you in the comments. Peace.
Yep.